Hello and welcometh backeth to the podcast, which is I just I went online and I typed English to Shakespearean and that's what it gave me. I was hoping I'd get something cooler. In honor of EUIC this weekend, I thought instead of saying Wagwan, I'd say use some Shakespearean, some like ancient, from the old days of English, but didn't really come out the way I wanted it to. But welcometh backeth to the podcast. Um, Kieran, we had a lot going on this past weekend. We got a lot going on this week.
Yep.
And we got a lot to talk about here. We're gonna be breaking down UIC. We're gonna be breaking down Puerto Rico. We're gonna be talking Champions League. For some reason, we have to give For Alligator some airtime at some point here. Um, but the first thing I think we should talk about, and like I'll put a chapter here if y'all want to skip the sports talk, you can skip the sports talk. We gotta talk about the NBA All-Star Game versus the NHL Four Nations Face-Off. Kieran, what are your thoughts of the NHL Four Nations Face-Off?
I think the format's really cool. I'm not really that into hockey, but like I'm not watching the games, but I'm like keeping up on my like phone. I was checking the scores. I was cheering for
Mhm.
Canada. I was seeing some controversy about it, so I'm like, okay, like this seems cool. Like we should. I mean, like because I was watching the NBA like All Star Weekend, which I always watch every year.
It was
Uh,
so lame this year, man.
but I mean, like it's been lame, right? It's like I don't know. Like the guys don't care. Like you turn it on, like for whatever reason, like I have to watch. It's like a Kevin Hart comedy special where it's like I didn't ask for this, and then like I do like watching the 3-point contest a lot. And then like other than that, it's like Mac McClung is cool, but like he has to have
Yeah.
like an opponent. Otherwise, it's just kind of like lame. So.
Yo, Kevin Hart was saying some crazy things on air this year, man. Like half of that could not like those are things that we wouldn't air on the Shift Gear podcast for sure. And it was on national TV, which is insane. I had a really hard decision to make to like on what I'm gonna wear here. Kieran, you thought I should wear this, which I think is correct.
I think so too,
I
bro.
was I was the sucker who paid $150 for the Four Nations Face Off Fanatics
All right,
limited
that's
edition
crazy.
Canada sweater. Yeah, it's
Fanatics,
like
$150.
bro, it's beaver bucks or Canadian dollars worth like nothing. It's fine. But I settled for the new Brandon Ingram. What's it called? The Dunkiversary jersey, something like that.
I actually don't know what it's called. Do you have the authentic
Something like
one or
that.
no?
It was $200, so I don't know.
Well, bro, they're putting the patch then on the normal ones. That's crazy.
I
Like
don't
the
know.
ad patch. They didn't used to do that before.
Oh, the Sun Life.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so Four Nations Face Off was something super duper cool that they did this year. And like I don't know, I'm gonna throw my whole EUIC run right now. I'm gonna tell y'all. If you hit me in day one, you have a free win because I'm getting up at 2 a.m. to watch Canada play the USA the night before because this tournament is electric. Like you got guys chucking knucks in the first 9 seconds. There's 3 fights. Versus the NBA All-Star game where I'm watching Darius Garland like chuck threes from his
Bro,
own
you're watching the
3-point
Mr.
line.
Beast $100,000 challenge, bro.
I'm glad the kid hit it though. It
I
was
was
kind of
hyped for
cool.
the kid too. Mr. Beast was like a really bad MC, but like I was hyped that the kid got it. So
Yeah.
uh
So, like, moral of the story, I think the NHL for once is doing something right, and this has been awesome. If you're not a hockey person, I tweeted this out the other day. If you're not a hockey person, trust me, just tune in to the Four Nations Face-Off on Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and you will become a hockey person. Like, this stuff is electric. I was seeing all the football guys on my timeline going crazy, and it's pretty hard to impress the football guys.
do you think we could ever have like a Pokemon like face off where it's like the countries I know like we all compete under our flags at like worlds and stuff. Like if we had like a team event, like like we sent Team Canada versus Team USA and
Yeah,
then like
that'd be a ton of fun.
I think it'd be
I think
awesome.
it'd actually be relatively even, like towards the tops of all of them.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like there's quite a few good players. Like Japan would do numbers on us too, right? So that'd be a
I
lot
mean,
of fun. Maybe we should put
I
together.
don't think they would. Like, I feel like we could compete very easily with them. I feel like every country could compete pretty well. Like, I'd say like, I don't know, like who would be the best teams? It'd be like, okay, U.S.,
I mean,
Canada,
it's got to be U.S.
Japan.
Yeah,
Finland is actually
I'd
really
say
good.
Norway just off Tord diff.
Yeah, Norway just with Tord. Brazil's probably pretty good.
Yeah,
I think France
even
is
Mexico.
decent. Yeah, Mexico's a couple guys. Yeah, I don't know. It'd be cool. Like teams of
All
maybe
right,
three
Pokemon
or
Four Nations
five.
Face Off. Is this in the future?
Yeah,
We
or
get a
they do,
venue
or
big enough
maybe
for all that.
they like Pokemon would do like the continents, like the regions as the four nations.
I like
Like
that too,
they would do like
actually.
NA, LATAM, OC
Yeah,
plus Europe, and then maybe they would just throw Asia in there. Why not? Like,
lots of good ideas here. Let us know
yeah.
down below who you think would win the Pokemon Four Nations Face Off. All right, let's hop into content here. We blabbed enough, and all the non-sports people are like punching their screens right now. All right, Karen, you wanted to start with let's look through Puerto Rico here before we get into
Yeah,
our
we can just go
UIC
through
tier
Puerto
list, I guess.
Rico quickly. I think.
Sure.
Yeah, 300 players, like decent size actually. I think they had 8 rounds day one. I think they had 3 the next day, or they had 2 the next day. I can't remember.
It was 2.
Yeah, because I think I was looking like 7-1-2 made cut. Uh, so that's kind of weird. A 2-round day 2.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
This whole like special event thing is so strange to me.
yeah, there was like the high school too. I saw like a high school gym.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it like reminded me of what like tournaments used to be like when we'd play in like the community centers or whatever.
Yeah, dude. It's just bonkers to me that this whole like this 299 player special event is worth the same amount of championship points as like 4,000 mans in a room. But hey, I mean, if you got time to travel, this is pretty good.
Yeah, don't hate the player, hate the game.
Exactly.
So yeah, interesting top cut to be honest. I mean, like Gardevoir didn't make top cut, Lugia didn't make top cut. There's only one Dragapult. There was 3 Miraidon. There was Ceruledge and like 2 Duraludons and a Cloth Trapagos.
Yeah, Shadowcloth.
So I mean, like Miraidon, I guess like last weekend in Merida was definitely the star of the show, and it looks like it carried over to this weekend. So if I had to guess, we don't have all the stats, but I'm gonna guess Miraidon was a very heavily played deck. So it seems like it's picking up a lot of steam, and I don't know if people weren't ready for it or if people just like I don't know didn't respect it, but it did well again. So I mean, it just like feels like going into EUIC at this point. It's like if your deck can respect Miraidon, you probably should. Like if you can play tech or something. Like Gardevoirs are probably gonna start playing Klefki again, right? If you're playing Dragapult, you might want to play the Vacuum just to make sure you can get rid of the Charm. I think Arcaludon might go up and play a little bit. And like as we saw
I think
here,
what we learned here, yeah, I think what we learned here is like Miraidon is good. Like it is a legitimate player
yep,
in this meta, right? Like you can prepare for it all you want. You look at this top cut. There's two Archaludons here. It didn't matter. Miraidon still won the tournament. Miraidon's very legit, and like we said this last week. You're gonna win a lot of games you have no business winning just off like donking people or running them
yep,
off the board. So, I mean, you pose a good point. You're like, yeah, if you can prepare for Miraidon, but it doesn't seem like much is really stopping it right now.
yeah, definitely it is like a deck that can just steal games. Also, I want to give a shout out to Christian defending home turf, winning Puerto Rico.
Huge.
So, yeah, like the one thing I have noticed with Arcaludon is like almost everyone's cutting Dialga every time I look at list.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably correct. Like just playing the deck more consistent with like the 4 boss and like the Turos. This is the list that got second. There's a Black Belt training in here to help. Probably against Miraidon as well. It can hit Blood Moon. I don't know whether EXs are meta relevant, but
Goldengo.
oh yeah, Goldengo is 260. Yeah, you want to try Goldengo? That's funny. There's like Lumen and Squawk in here, so it's definitely a more aggressive build. So like if you go first, you can even like Squawk and then try and like boss turn too. So definitely a unique take that I think this is going to be the more popular version. The other top 8 list had actually the 1/1 Dialga. This is with trekking shoes. So it does seem like even with Dialga, like people are just like trending towards like a more turbo aggressive style of playing Arcaludon.
Yeah.
Which seems interesting to me. So
Arcaludon is just good, right? Like just 220 is just good. And there's a lot of ways that people complicate decks sometimes, and I think these like bare bones versions are picking up steam because again, the card is just good. So
yeah,
if you surround it with Turos, you surround it with Boss, like again, you're gonna cheese some games. And it feels like, and I hate to say this, but it feels like this format is kind of lame in that sense, where like you're just cheesing a lot of games and I don't know. There's like Archaludon and Miraidon are like the 2 biggest decks right now, and neither of them are that much fun. So I don't know. I hope things change, but we'll
right. You
see.
know that meme of like the 2 people fighting, and like there's a guy in the back just chilling. It's like it feels like
Yeah,
Dragonbolt
yeah.
and like Guardy are fighting, like the most intricate decks. Like there's like you play those matchups, it's so skill based, and then it's just like Miraidon and Arcaludon
I
chilling
know,
in the
man.
back.
Man's just ripping their generators, chilling in the back. It's
Yeah.
insane, bro.
So
I played Archaludon at a challenge the other day, and I legitimately just sat there saying "Draw Metal Defender" like 6 times a game. Like it's so lame.
yeah, I actually lost to
So lame.
Arcaludon in the finals of my cup last weekend.
Mm.
I don't know if you saw my tweet, but I had to play without capturing Roma and cut. But
Yeah, you messaged our group chat. We're
oh,
like,
that's
"What the hell
right.
are you doing?"
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's funny.
Honestly, like kind of insane that I got to game 3 of the finals, like with that handicap, bro.
What did you play? You played Lighting Energy?
Yeah, so like they said, okay, you can play 4. You can play 2 capture, or sorry, 2 Goza and 4 lightning, or 4 energy, or like 4 Goza and like 2 energy. So I picked 4 Goza, 2 energy.
Of course. Yeah.
And then one of my proxies was like a fighting energy with like said Mezagoza because I didn't have more Mezagoza with me. We could only find one more. And then like it was just hype, bro. Like I played against Dragapult in like one of the top cut rounds, and like he put the Tempelicino down, and I was like, all right, fighting energy, get rid of it.
That's fire.
And like Loki, he forgot to use it one turn. I'm like, yo, he might have forgot to use it because it was fighting energy.
It's the fighting energy with Messagoza written on it in Sharpie.
So
yeah, that'll
like,
do it.
This is the new strat. Get a deck with error so you can fighting energy proxy and win the game that way.
Did you get a game loss for that?
I did get a game loss, but my first top cut opponent also got a game loss because he was playing the wrong Duskulls, not the ones he wrote down.
What the hell?
Bro, it was so funny in the match, and then like he turn 2 went like Dusknoir, Rare Candy, Counter Catcher, knock out my only Lugia, but I still came back and won, so it was hype.
So sorry, was he allowed to replace his Duskulls with Duskulls, or did he have to play energies?
No, so he then had to replace it with the other Duskull.
Oh, I see.
So very sketchy, and I knew my opponent was definitely trying to get advantage with me by not playing the correct Duskulls.
By playing an unfair amount of Duskulls. Yeah, that's pretty good.
So
that's a solid story.
Yeah, so it's like the whole cup was a fiesta, and then like I faced Julian in the finals. Like he was playing Arcaladon. Then like game 2, I started Drapion, and like I didn't have Lugia turn 1, but I opened 2 double turbos in my hand, so I was using Drapion just attacking. It was honestly like it was really a really fun set. I had a lot of fun. Like game 3, I got like Lugia like draw pass lose, but that game was really fun. So off topic, but Ciaran's League Cup Adventures. That was like my first cup in a couple months. So
always fun to hear him. So what else we got on this topic? There's not much really right.
Well, there's a Cerulege. There's no list for it though.
Yeah.
We'll get to this when we tier list, but like I don't think this deck is good. So like let's hype that Steven got all the way to top cut. Yeah, we were talking about earlier, Cloth Terapagos. Like this deck is actually pretty sick. Like it's pretty cool. It feels like it's really bad against Lugia and Gardevoir, but I actually feel like it's pretty good against like all the other decks. Like at least even to favorite and to everything else. So and now you have like the Ditto and the Badoo combo. Like doing Itchy Pollen for 80 damage is very respectable. Like you take out like a Ralts or something, or a GP, like your opponent can't do anything, especially against Dragapult. That's very strong. So
I actually think this is a really, really underrated deck right now. I think this deck's really, really good. The thing that I don't like about this deck, I just look at it and I don't like it. Like I just look at these like 21 of Pokemons or whatever we got going on here. I just don't like it. That's the reason why I don't play it. But if I had half a brain, I'm probably picking this up right now because not a lot of people have this on their radar, right? People are focused on the big 3. Of course, like you do struggle into Gardevoir a little bit, and you can struggle into the other decks as well. But like you said, you cover most of your bases, and you can cheese a lot of things as well. By what you said, Itchy Pollen for 80, that's pretty good. You can cheese a lot of games.
Yeah, I mean, also people are gonna blind second a lot with like Gardevoir, Dragapult, whatever. Like you can just Peck Rut and combo them turn 1 to donk. I'm sure a lot of the time. So
yeah, I really like this deck.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Definitely in a solid spot.
You play the Valiant too, so you can hit like some crazy numbers.
Yeah. Like I guess turn 1 you can like donk stuff with Valiant. It's kind of hard to do that, but yeah, you can definitely get there now.
I always thought Valiant was one of those cards that was like really hyped up when it was supposed to come out, but never really lived up. And I was kind of surprised because like the card's really, really good.
Yeah, it like randomly got second at LAIC when it came out, and then like it just wasn't a deck that format really.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I don't know. And you're right. It never really fully saw its true potential.
R.I.P. Entei Valiant.
Yeah. Other than that, we were also Neil and I were looking like at Aaron's Limitless. It's like the coolest Limitless ever. It's like top 16 Worlds 2012, top 16 US Nationals 2013, top 8 special event Puerto Rico 2025.
That's goated.
12 years.
Lost son.
Yeah, 12 years between Limitless entries is like sick. Yeah, he's like the third.
And they're all like
brother.
Goated entries too. Like it's not like there's no like top 128s in here. Like this is some real deal stuff.
Yeah,
pretty good.
Yeah, I like vaguely remember like Aaron back in the day. Like maybe he's in like some top cut like matches or something like on the YouTube channel. But yeah. So, anyways, that's Puerto Rico. I don't think this will have too much of an effect on like where people are at heading into EUIC, but it was interesting just to take a quick look at it. So,
shout out Maddox too. Shout out Maddox.
Oh yeah, Maddox. Yeah, the beach court.
That's
top
the
8.
dog. He is the greatest guy to go out and have a drink with after a regional. The greatest. He's always running like 20 mans deep. Like you'll just be walking around whatever city you're at. You'll walk like by a corner store or whatever, you see Maddox just posted up with 20 mans on the side, like, yo, you want to come out with us? And every time, it's like the best time ever. So shout out Maddox, bro.
Yeah,
That guy is one of the goats of the community.
he was at the Super Bowl with me in Mexico.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we were at Diamond Dogs. Shout out
There
Diamond Dogs.
you go. Maddox, #1 guy to party with, man.
All right, love the shout out. Cool. All right, Neil. Now we can jump, I think, to our tier list now for EUIC. I don't know, how familiar are you or well tested are you with this format?
Not very well tested. I'm very unserious with this game right now, but
Okay.
I'm cooking up something diabolical. It's gross. If I end up playing this thing for UIC, it's gonna be a big story, guys. Whether I go 08 or 8-0, it's gonna be a big story because this thing sucks. This comes from a place of me thinking everything feels stale to me. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just me. I just haven't really felt like the format's moved a lot. Of course, we get Badoo. Like, I have played a decent amount of games, as much as I don't like to admit it, in this format, but I haven't played a lot of different decks. So, obviously, our big three are our big three. Looks like Miraidon's kind of taken a step above them, and we'll kind of talk about this, but there's not as much really good deck diversity as we had last format.
Yeah, that's for sure. It feels like there's like a big four, and then like everything else is like way less.
Yeah.
In terms of play and like viability. So, all right. So let's start with Dragapult, Neil. Is this first question gonna be the most popular deck?
I don't think so, personally. I really don't think so. I think Miraidon's going to top it.
You think Miraidon's gonna jump to #1?
I think so. It's one of the last two events. It's easy to play, kind of fun. I don't know. That's the way I look at it. What do you think?
I think Dragapult's gonna be the most popular. I think a lot of people like playing Dragapult. I think it's just solid. I don't know. If I had to give it a guess, I was gonna guess like 13 or 14%.
That's a lot more modest than what I've been hearing from other people. Some people are saying like 18, 19%. Well, you guys are out of your minds.
Well, okay, I think between Dragapult, Gardevoir, Lugia, and Miraidon collectively, I actually think they're gonna get like 55 to 60%. So I guess I would have to give Dragapult like 15% probably then.
All right, I'm okay with that.
Okay, and then what tier are we gonna put it in? I think it's like A tier probably. Yeah, I think it's just solid A tier. It's like it doesn't have many matchups where it's like overwhelmingly the favorite. It's just like its matchup spread's super tight. So and then if you're good at playing the deck, like you can just win a lot of games through like just like skill or like superior prize mapping, traps, like stuff late in the game. So yeah,
the deck's just good, man. If you have a good pilot, like you're gonna win a lot of games. So yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, one thing that was interesting is like Brent and Aiden Q's got like the top cut in Merida, and they didn't play TM Evo, and I feel like that's a card that I think most players are gonna play. But they were really leaning into like the Rotom engine there.
A lot of scary jamming towers going around. Might have been part of the reason.
Yeah, like Arcalon's playing 4, so yeah, I think it's a solid deck. I think, I don't know, people say it's 50-50 into Guard. I think it's actually slightly favored into Gardevoir, and then I would say it's like unfavored into Lugia, and I'd say it's like probably like even to slightly favored into Miraidon. Then the rest of the stuff
it's just a solid deck. Like it's like the definition of just like a neutral solid deck.
Exactly. All right, next up is Gardevoir, Neil. What tier does Gardevoir go in?
I think it'd be a mistake to put it anywhere other than A, personally.
I could see an argument for like low S, but I don't think it's like that head and shoulders above the rest. But I think Gardevoir is really good. I think like the best players are all going to play Gardevoir or Dragapult, but I think most of them are going to play Gardevoir. And I think Gardevoir is going to like have like multiple top cuts this weekend.
Yeah.
Because I think you can just adapt the list, right? So it's like if you want to beat Miraidon, like I'm sure like Henry's already figured out like how to beat Miraidon. So he's like, okay, like that's free. It might just be play Klefki in a while, but and then like it's all if you play Spiritomb, like I think its Lugia matchup is fine. Its Dragapult matchups, like I think it's a little shaky, but I think it's like honestly fine. I think if you're like it's another skill based matchup where there's a lot of back and forth. So I definitely think Gardevoir is like A tier for sure. And then if you're like an elite player, I'd put it S tier.
Keep in mind too, like there's 4,000 mans at this event, right? Like, you're likely not gonna hit one of the goats on day one for the most part. So like, if a good player picks up Gardevoir, there's, in my opinion, a stronger chance they do well in day one and advance to day two in this tournament than there would be at a smaller tournament. So I think like the skill diff is really gonna show with this deck. So I estimate like lower play rate, higher conversion is kind of what I'm getting at.
I'm gonna guess 13% play rate.
You think that high?
I think so.
Okay. I was gonna say around 10, but
All right.
13's fine.
Here, we'll put 12.
Sure. We'll
Yeah.
average it.
Like,
Okay.
honestly, like, if I didn't love Lugia so much and, like, want to win a tournament with it, like, before it rotates, I think I'd play Gardevoir.
Yeah.
But I gotta rep Lugia, so. All right, Neil. Next up is
You
Lugia.
talk about this one. Yep.
I mean, I think people are, like, scared because of Miraidon, which I think is fair. So, like, I wouldn't hate putting it in, like, high B tier, or, like, low A. It's, with, like, Miraidon doing so well, I feel like it's almost hard not to put it, like, in, like, high B tier, I think.
Yeah.
Just for full transparency, I'm playing Lugia this weekend, even though I'm putting it here.
Okay.
So I just think it's like, hey, it's really good into Dragapult, which is great. It's like fine into Gardevoir, depending on your list, you could even be favored. But obviously, like Miraidon's just like a bad matchup, and like Miraidon's just like jumping up in play. I know I used to even say this myself, like Arcaludon was a bad matchup, but after playing it more, I'm like, oh, Arcaludon's actually a good matchup. I like playing against Arcaludon. I'm actually fine with that going up in play. And then I think Lugia's still just good against all the random stuff. Like, just looking at the rest of this tier list, I'm like, I literally want to hit, like, all this stuff. Except, like, Thorns, I guess. So, literally the only thing holding it back is Miraidon. So, like, if, like, Miraidon flops, then Lugia will do really well, I think. But for now, I have to put Lugia here. And if I had to give it a guess, I'd probably give it, like, a 10% on the play rate.
I don't know. I'm actually kind of in the ballpark that I feel like it should be A tier. I like, even with Miraidon around, like the matchup spread is just so polarizing. It's so good.
Yep.
I'm not trying to like positively like meta manipulate Lugia right now, but I don't know. It was one of those decks on my radar. It feels, and it's always been this way. It's like, okay, a Lugia player running hot is terrifying for everybody in the tournament, right? And I think if you run hot this weekend, like this deck can go really, really far. I do agree with like high B, low A, so I think we can keep it in B. But definitely one of the dark horses to watch out for, in my opinion.
Yep, for sure. I mean, if I win the tournament, Neil, that's gonna be a Lugia.
That'd be great.
All right. Next up, Miraidon. Is it B or is it A tier?
To the top.
Yeah, I think it's like after how it's been performing, like I don't think you can't put it in A tier, right? Like win. Like 3 in Puerto Rico. I don't even remember how many made top cut in Merida, but it was a lot. So yeah, I think it's just solid.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, like it's like in the top 3 decks. It's like favored into Lugia, favored into Gardevoir, even into Dragapult. Your matchup spread is actually pretty bad against like the rest of the meta. Like these decks make up like over half the meta, so it's like that's pretty good. So if you can get to like the top tables, like probably a lot of these like fringe decks won't really be there as much. And then even then, like you were saying earlier, you can just cheese wins against just like random stuff. So
yep.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, if this deck does well again this weekend, I think it moves up to S, no doubt. Like the definition of S to me is kind of like, okay, a deck is known as being the best or one of the best. People tech for it and they still can't beat it.
Yeah.
So like if after this weekend it's still going strong, then I think it has a really good argument to go to S. But I think right now it's just the top of the list and like not quite S tier yet.
Yeah. I don't know. This isn't just my Lugia bias, but I think Miraidon is not going to like convert like that well to top cut this weekend. I just think everyone's going to be ready for Miraidon. Like, it's hard to believe you can go into this tournament not being ready to beat Miraidon.
Yeah, fair.
I don't know. What guess do you have for what the percent is going to be?
I think high, man. I think it's like 14-15%.
That much? I don't know.
I think so. Like, there's no reason not to. If you're like a random like casual, you're just chilling. Like, this is a great deck to pick up right now.
I was gonna give it 10%, and I thought that was high.
All right, let's go 12.
All right, sure. 12%. Okay, so collectively the big four, what did we give? 24, 34. 49%. We gave him 49%. Maybe we're a little low on these, honestly.
I don't know. I still think I still see some decks here that have some potential to become in numbers, personally.
Sure. Okay, well, next we have... Actually, let's skip Sarah. Let's just go Arcaludon, because I think this is going to be the 5th most popular deck, if I had to guess. Yeah. What tier do you have Arcaludon?
Let me preface this by saying I've played a lot of Arcaludon, probably like over 700 games. The deck is strong, but I think the deck is linear. The deck can be boring. The deck also loses to Gardevoir most of the time.
Even with Jamming Tower, yeah.
Even with 4 Jamming Tower, you're pretty consistently losing to Gardevoir. For that reason, I think I put it in B under Lugia.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's where it goes as well. Your Miraidon matchup is actually pretty good, which is actually like why I think the deck could trend upwards a little bit. Your Dragapult matchup, I actually think is also pretty decent. Like they only play 1 or 2 stadium bumps, so like if you put that in, you can block the Crystal. If you get a turn 1, you can block Evo if they play that, and you don't really care that much about Badoo. But yeah, I think Gardevoir is the thing holding it back a lot. But I mean, like almost every deck is gonna have one bad matchup into like all the other ones here, right? So it's like Miraidon's bad against Arcaladon, Dragapult's bad against Lugia, Lugia's bad against Miraidon, Gardevoir's bad against Miraidon, I guess. That's just how it kind of is. So, I would guess I'm gonna put like I would say like a 7% for Arcaladon. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay.
I noticed we also have an Arcaladon Dialga there.
Oh yeah, that's true. Actually, so we should probably combine these. I actually think the Dialga version is probably worse. It's just clunkier.
It is clunkier, but I think it has a higher upside. I wouldn't say it's worse, in my opinion.
You think it's the same? You think it's B tier?
I think it's about the same. I think they both have their pros and cons.
Okay, so if I just split this up, do you think it'd be like 5% straight and then 2% like Dialga?
You think the split's gonna be that polarizing?
I mean, I was like, this was just narrative data, but I looked and like the split was like 80-20.
I was gonna say like 4-3 maybe. Like that's kind of where I was going with this. 5-2 seems a little high. There's a lot of guys still playing Dialga.
Sure. All right, we'll do 4-3. Okay, next up is Ceruledge. Where does Ceruledge go?
This one's so interesting. This is like one of those decks that you're like terrified of hitting in round 1 and 2.
I'm not terrified of hitting this deck. I'm hyped if I hit this
you're
deck.
Not. Most of these other decks, I shouldn't say most, but like a lot of these other decks can be like even like all these metal decks. You're terrified. Like you don't want to touch this. But people will play it. Like there's a very passionate Ceruledge fan base. And EUIC is like a perfect event to kind of play that. I would probably go C tier, like 3% is kind of where I'd be at with this.
I was gonna say the same. Oops, 3%. I think 3, and like it has a like horrible Lugia matchup, but it has a bad Gardevoir matchup. So like that's 2 of the big 4 decks. It's actually pretty good against Dragapult, and like it's okay. It's actually decent against Miraidon as well. Arcaladon, I assume it's good. I don't know. I mean, they take weakness away, but yeah, I'm sure you can one-shot them eventually. So, cool. I agree. Raging Bolt, I think this is probably also in the C tier, if not D.
This is a weird one for me. I actually think this deck is like criminally underrated right now.
Because it's good against Miraidon and Bolt?
I mean, that helps. Yeah. Yeah, I think in general, like, this deck is just, I don't know what it is. It just feels like it's not being represented in the way that I expected it to be. And I think the deck's actually really strong. I can't think of a lot of times where Bolt doesn't do, like, you don't care about anything your opponent does to you. You're just Raging Bolt. You just kill things, right? And I think the deck's pretty good. Like, I would almost say it's B tier. But honestly, for the argument, sorry, go ahead.
No, I cut you off. Go finish.
I was gonna say, for the argument of this and like where this is at subjectively, I think it probably should be in C tier. But I do think it has like a high potential ceiling, like way higher than Ceruledge.
I mean, I was thinking about it like as you were talking, I was just looking. I'm like, well, you're actually probably good against Arcaladon, and then like, you're good against Dragapult, even with Badoo. I think it's actually not that bad. And then you're probably like slightly favored into Miraidon just because your deck has an easier time. They can't one-shot your guys very easily.
You have a lot of health, right?
Yeah, like Gardevoir has obviously always been a bad matchup. Lugia is like a 50-50 matchup. Like low key, it's actually like might be a B tier angle. Like low
I'm
B
telling
tier.
you.
This
deck is good, man.
This is untested though, so I don't know if but it's definitely better than Ceruledge. So I'm either throwing this in 100%. B tier or I'm putting Ceruledge in D tier and putting Raging Bolt in C tier.
Put it in B tier, bro.
Right,
I actually think this deck is legit.
Okay. And what are we gonna say? I actually think it will be like a 5% deck because like it's people have been playing this for so long. Like
5%, and I think someone somewhere is gonna surprise us this weekend with this deck.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Next up, another old deck. And I might think this is our first entry to D tier. We have Charizard Pidgeot. Yeah.
This deck kind of sucks.
It's just it's like crazy that this went from like one of the best decks to like now it's just not doing that well. I just think with Dragapult being so popular, that's a horrible matchup. Regigigas makes your Lugia matchup like horrible. Like it's like so easy. Like you just have like almost no counterplay to Gigas. Yeah. I mean, like I will say the one silver lining is like Miraidon getting super popular. Like that's good for Charizard. That's always been a great matchup. I think Gardevoir is a close matchup. I think it's probably 50-50. But I don't know. I think the rest of your matchups are just so poor. Like I think in Merida, the conversion rate was like 2% or something. Like
I am so happy to see this deck eat the dirt right now. Like, I'm so happy, man. I've hated this deck forever. I think it's like it's skillful, it's fun to play, but to play against, it just feels like the card is so strong. It just has answers to everything. So I think it is time Charizard takes a step back, and I'm happy, thrilled even to slot it into D tier.
Yeah, I'm gonna still give it like 4 to 5% because I think so many people like playing Charizard. Like,
Yeah, and I think one thing we missed on this list too is Charizard Pult, which is a real deck.
true.
Yeah, so I think a lot of I don't know. I shouldn't say a lot of Charizard players will pick up that, but I definitely think there's a chance they pivot to that. So maybe there's like a 4% deck.
Sure, put 4. Did you see? I saw like Zach Lesage was posting the Dunsparce Charizard deck. I think a couple French players. I think Dario was playing that. I think Jay might have
Yeah,
played it too. Like no disrespect, it seems horrible, but it seems like they're hyping it up. So
yeah. I don't want to be the one to say it. Doesn't seem great though.
yeah, I don't know. It seems fun. Like I liked it on Spurs, but I don't really get what we're drawing. We're just drawing cards to do more Charizard attacks, which I don't know. Is that strong enough in this format?
We're just drawing cards to hope that we draw the one we want, I guess.
I guess. I think the reason like it's maybe stronger is like if you get Bidooed, you're not relying on Pidgeot, you have to Dunsparce. But like I'm still having trouble evolving Charizard, I guess.
I
So
don't know, man. Probably not worth looking into.
yeah, I mean, I even if it was good, I wouldn't be messing around with it. But
Yeah.
yeah. All right, next up, Goldengo.
Okay. Another deck I've tested a lot actually. I don't know where this deck stands because this deck has good matchups across the board, and generally you do pretty good, but Badoo can like randomly just destroy you, like late game, which is terrifying because like you can run out of energies and then your opponent's like, all right, Badoo. And then suddenly you legitimately can't do anything. So
Yeah,
I think Goldengo, high ceiling. I think if you hit the right matchups, have a lucky day, you're gonna go pretty far. I would be very pressed to put it above Raging Bolt in B tier. Like I feel like it's probably a high C for
yeah. I
me.
was gonna say this feels like just perfect C tier for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like Badoo is really annoying for it. I don't think it has any
Yeah.
crazy good matchups when I'm like looking at these. Like Argalodon's probably a good matchup, I would imagine.
Arcaudon's like free basically.
Yeah,
Miraidon's pretty good.
yeah,
And like you can compete into any of these decks, but again, like the problem is you're not consistent in doing that.
yeah. I agree. Probably
So
what
I
like
don't
three
know.
to four percenter.
Yeah, I like that.
Should I put 4 or 3? Let's just put 4. Why not?
I think yeah, 4 is fine.
All right. Next up, Drago. Like it's actually crazy how much this deck has fallen off. When it really doesn't feel like it needed to fall off this hard, to be honest.
Yeah.
But alas, it has fallen down. And is there an argument for putting Drago in the B tier?
I don't think so, not anymore. I think it's so crazy how this one like 30 HP pollen Pokemon just destroyed this entire archetype. It's insane. Because it just shifts the meta so much. And I think I don't know, I feel like Drago, if a good player plays Drago, there is a chance it can go far at all times. I think the ceiling is
Yeah.
high for it as well. It's very similar to Goldengo in that sense. But it's gonna be a long, tough road.
Like to me, it's just like I know Badoo's bad, but I'm like, there's literally only one deck that plays Badoo. So I'm like, why are we really falling off this hard? Like, there's only one deck that plays Badoo, and like you can
Yeah.
probably tech your deck to like deal with Badoo. Like to me,
Well, I think people realize
is it just a case of like all the best players stop playing Drago, so just stop doing well? Like,
that is definitely part of it. I think people
yeah,
also realize like the lines with Gardevoir and why Gardevoir is not a bad matchup, right? Sorry, why Gardevoir is favored into Drago. Sorry, is what I'm trying to say. Where before that narrative was not really there. I think a lot of the Gardevoir players picked that up because before you're like you're playing Drago, you see a Ralts at the board, you're licking your chops, right? But that big meta share being taken off kind of the favorite list doesn't help you. You're good into Dragapult for the most part. Miraidon's pretty bad. That's the thing, right? Miraidon going up is not great for you, and there's not a whole lot of counterplay you can really do
I don't think
to
Maraudon's
that, right?
that bad though, because they can't one shot Drago V Star. There's the
No, but
like
they go
the
so
double
fast at
Ciaran
the start.
line. Yeah, I don't know. It's probably we have to put it in C tier, but I do feel like if the best players, like for example, like Brent kept playing Drago or something, like I wouldn't be surprised to see Drago make like top 32.
I agree. I think it's higher than
Yeah,
Goldengo in terms of ceiling.
yeah. But I guess yeah, like it feels wrong to have like Drago in the same tier. I guess as like Lugia, for example. So
Yeah.
I guess it goes here. Probably like I'd actually put like 2 or 3%.
I think it's gonna be pretty low.
Right, 2%.
You need like a damn good reason to play Draco in this format going into this.
Cool. All right, next up is Snorlax Stall. Honestly, well, another deck that loves the Surge and Miraidon, because like that's pretty much one of the freest matchups you can hit. And then I think it's like pretty close into Pult and Guardy. If you want to play Temple of Sinnoh, you can make your Lugia matchup 50-50. Archaludon is like horrible, like you're not beating that. But like everything else, like you're actually pretty good against.
Yeah.
So I think Snorlax is actually in a pretty decent spot.
It hasn't blown me away, I'll be honest. In terms of like every time I played it, I've always felt like there's such a deep card pool now that you almost always have an answer to it. And a lot of decks are playing Cologne, Switch. There's a lot more Turo now around as well because of Dragapult's emergence. So that is a byproduct of what kind of destroys you as a Snorlax player. I agree with you. I do think it's like a little bit underrated right now. I do think it's going to show up. I would be very pressed to put it anything above like low B though, personally.
Yeah, I mean like Guardy, for example, like they used to play like Klefki and Flutter. Now some of them are playing neither. So that's really good for you. One is manageable. I don't know. I think I'm gonna put in B tier. I think I'm always high on Snorlax, like almost every.
Yeah, B's fine.
Like
I also think sorry, go ahead.
I think it like Snorlax is like one of the best decks if you just want to make day 2. Like I think it's like one of the best decks for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the fact that Gardevoir went away from playing Bravery Charms too is really good for Snorlax because there was always that line, right, where you accelerate to the Ralts, or accelerate to the Kirlia, whatever, evolve, kill yourself when
exactly,
yeah, when the time comes. Which I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but I said it now, so it is what it is.
Hopefully,
yeah,
YouTube
so that's now
can,
gone.
Can understand we're talking about Pokemon.
YouTube, I'm not talking about suicide, bro. Do not demonetize us, please.
Bro, that $10
but that line is now
gone.
I can't live without it.
Yes, that line.
Not by $10 a week.
Bro, it's poverty hours out here for the duo, the Shift Gear duo.
For real. For real.
All right. I'd probably put like 3%. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Okay. There's like Pult Thorns. We can just say Iron Thorns in general. I mean, I'm a hater, but like I think I'm like fair to say it's probably C tier, and I think your Dragapult matchup's really bad.
Our good buddy All Out Blitzel was hyping the hell out of this thing yesterday.
God.
He put up a free Metafy guide on Iron Thorns.
Oh really?
And yeah, I was in a Discord call with some of the fellas. They're like, "Yo, your boy Blitzel's like he put out an Iron Thorns thing," and I went and bought it. It's free. I don't care. So I'm like reading this thing, and I forget what it said. One of the lines was like so jokes, bro. He was basically saying like, "Your deck sucks." Like the deck just sucks, but you'll win some games. And I'm like, honestly, that's about as like fair an evaluation you can give for that deck, right? Like the deck is so all over the place. You never know what you're gonna get with Iron Thorns. So I don't think much has changed in that sense. I think the deck is still kind of whatever. Like you might go on a miracle run like that guy at Worlds, or you might just go 0-4 and hate your life. So
yeah, I'm putting it 1%.
That's the life for you. I like that.
Okay, Pidgeot control, like probably B tier. I don't know, like
B.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I mean, like I don't know. I feel like people who play Pidgeot control are very good at Pidgeot control.
I don't know enough about Pidgeot control in this format to comment on it, to be honest. Like nobody plays it around me and like on ladder from what I've seen. So I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Like there's just people like Blitzel. Sander will be at EUIC. So like just out of respect, I feel like I had to put this in B tier.
Yeah, there's gonna be some nonsense going on with some control stuff for sure.
All right, I'm gonna put 1% Pidgeot control.
Sure. Fine by me.
Okay, Lost Box. Where does Lost Box go?
I don't know. I still feel like this deck is untapped.
It's actually not that bad. Like,
yeah,
Regidrago is gone now, so that's like one bad matchup out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
And then like you're actually like I actually think you're like okay into Dusknoir. I actually played some games of Lost Box versus Dusknoir this week, just random or Dragapult this week, and it actually felt like Lost Box was favored. I'm not sold on its Guardian matchup. I don't think its Guardian matchup is good. I don't think its Miraidon matchup is good. Its Lugia matchup depends if they play Water Pond, if you play Manaphy. Archaludon you should always beat. Snorlax is bad. I mean, like that's not that popular. Like, but the rest of the decks aren't that popular. So it's like fine to me. I don't think it's great, but I don't think it's like horrible.
Yeah, it's got like Golengo energy for me right now. I think it's like
I think it's like C tier. and like
Yeah.
what, like 1 or 2%. Like,
I wouldn't be surprised if some of like the best players were cooking up something crazy with this.
well, Hedrick
But I'm
played
gonna
it in
err on the side
Merida.
of probably not. Did
Yeah,
he?
yeah, he got top 32 or top 16. I can't remember, but he made day
Well,
2.
there you go.
Yeah.
So you never know with this lost zone business. So
Yeah.
I'd go maybe like 2% on
Fair,
this, just because we
2%.
need to make up some percentages anyways.
All right, now here, Cloth Terapagos. We were talking about this earlier, Neil. Where does this one go?
For me, it's a B. I think it's good. It's not great, but I think it's good, and it's definitely slept on. People aren't really preparing for this. I don't know. There's a lot of upside to this. I think
Yep.
obviously a lot of downside in the fact that your whole bench is just full with sitters that can be picked off at any time. But that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, I think its Gardevoir Lugia matchup is bad, but I actually think every other matchup is like fine. Like, so you even have black belts in the deck now to one shot stuff like Argalodon. You can one shot Guardy with it, to make it like slightly playable.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Black
like just
belt is so
the
joked.
dog potential. I'm actually gonna put this at like 5%. I think it's been like slowly picking up some steam.
Yep, I agree with you.
So, all right, then you'll last we put for Alligator on the list. I think it's at one Champions League.
Yo, I just want Charizard to be in D tier alone.
All right, S tier for Alligator. We need 14% of the meta left. All right, for Alligator, 14% of the meta.
14%.
100% meta predicted.
Yo, honestly, like I've been playing against a concerning amount of Alligator on ladder these days.
Like since the Champions League, or even before the Champions League.
This dates back like 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
I was playing this deck on ladder. Like people have a real like people love this thing. I don't know why, but people love this deck.
Yeah. I gotta give a shout out to Brian Courtney. He's been playing it even before what's it called? Champions League. So he's been hyping it up
real
to me.
Ones, bro.
So there we go. S tier for you.
All right.
All right. So that's our EUIC meta preview. Let us know what we got wrong, what you agree, disagree. Yeah, just do that. Cool.
Yeah, just do that.
All right, let's move on to Champions League, and we're like jumping now to like the future. This is post rotation. It was 5,000 players. First, the coolest thing is normally when we look at Champions League, the flags are all from one country, but we have a Norwegian flag, Tord Reklev, making top cut at Champions League Fukuoka.
What a goat!
What a goat, man! Like honestly, like did you expect anything different? So I'm excited because this means Tord qualified for Japan Nationals, and it means he qualified for the next Champions League. So he's going to be on their circuit now. So I feel like Tord's probably like bored with playing regionals, so he's probably like, yeah, why don't I just go play Champions League, like Japanese regionals? Like I've already won like the DPCI one, so.
Does Tord have like a real job outside of Pokemon?
No, Pokemon's his job.
Okay, yeah. So this is great. This is a huge money farm for him too, because he can like make content and stuff out there.
Well, he doesn't make content, bro. If Tord ever made content, it's over for like the rest of us.
Well, even when he's like tweeting, I'm sure he's like got some affiliate codes or something, right?
Yeah, I think he has sponsors and all that. He has his Metafy group, which I know is doing really well. He had like that class on how to prepare. So no, I think Tord's doing well. He's probably doing better than all of us who do Pokemon.
He's doing pretty good for himself, man.
So I mean, like honestly, fair enough. He's the best player in our game, so he should be doing really well for himself. So yeah. So first thing, when I looked at I don't know if you've looked at these lists yet, but like I saw half of them are playing some wall Pokemon. Like half of them are playing like Milotic or Farigiraf, or Ogerpon, like the stone one. So we can start at the top with the deck that won. We have Feraligatr.
Sure.
Feraligatr with Milotic, and there's Mimikyu too. So we have a wall.
This makes sense though. In this deck, it makes sense to play walls.
Yeah, I agree. While you set up, I guess. Like it's kind of because you have with Relicanth, I think it's Totodil's deck, right? Yeah, it's like your opponent can't retreat.
Yeah. And you have the Croconaw too that bumps you, right?
Yep. So it's kind of like a spinning turn type of thing. So yeah, if you run your opponent out of resources, I guess you just keep using that into like Mimikyu or Milotic, whichever one. So yeah, it's pretty cool, and then like you can do a bunch of damage with its ability. So I haven't had the chance to play any games yet, but what's exciting to me is that we have like a single prize deck that just won a big tournament.
Yeah.
So hopefully that's a trend that comes back a little bit. But like the power level of like post rotation is obviously a lot worse. Because like for Alligators, he's like no play in our current format, but it's like winning Champions League in Japan with pretty much like I guess they haven't had a new set yet. But like no, they've had the character set, but like basically all the cards that we have in standard right now, right? So like if you took this deck and just transport to current standard, like you'd get wiped. But that's always how rotation goes. Like the card pool is so much smaller that like the power level is so much less. So like weird stuff like does well.
Which right now, in my opinion, we really need. Like,
yeah,
I'm dying for this rotation right now.
I'm like really sad that like Japan gets to play rotation before us, because I think it would have been really cool if we got to do like I got to try like a post rotation tournament with like no results to go off of. Like you can really cook. Like now there's like obviously you still can cook, but like now there's gonna be some like decks, like a little bit of a meta ahead of time for us, because we don't have rotation for another couple months. So
yeah,
the Frolier deck's cool. Okay, bro, I know we talked about this one a while ago, because like why is there a Golden Go Dragapult deck? I still don't understand this deck. Yeah, but it's a real deck that, apparently. So do you lead with Golden Go and you pivot to Dragapult? Like, is that the idea? And then like Golden Go is like basically like a budget recon directive later? Like,
bro, I just don't understand. Like, there's just too much going on here. There's like, imagine you have like a Golden Go active and you're crispening. Like, what? What are we doing here? Like,
I will say I have seen Milotic in almost every deck. So maybe like you play Golden Go so that Dragapult doesn't get blocked by Milotic. Because
that's a good point, actually.
From what I understand, like when I was looking at Pokeka book, like their tier list had like Dragapult and Raging Bull like S tier. So maybe everyone's like, we need to play Farigiraf and we need to play Milotic. Then like people are just like playing counters to those in their deck. But yeah,
I don't know.
We'll have to see if this deck catches on. Last time I got Top Cut, it did not catch on. There's a Blissey deck, which is cool. I feel like Blissey has like an awesome ability, and it's kind of similar to Shift Gear. So I'm kind of sad it like hasn't caught on over here yet, but doing well. Again, look like Farigiraf, Milotic, Stone Ogerpon, so it's got the walls. Is this the prize card? What's this card again?
Yeah, what is this?
After counting your prize cards, shuffle them, put them on the bottom of your deck, then take that many cards on top of your deck, put them face down. Okay, so like in case you prize, like, because they're playing a lot of one-ups, I guess. The other thing with rotation is like almost every deck is playing Crispin now.
I mean, it's a good card.
Yeah.
I don't know. This format just doesn't. This doesn't seem that fun.
It seems very jank.
Three different kinds of walls.
I mean, like it's just post rotation, bro. This is always post rotation.
It's normally not this like degenerate.
Yeah, I guess it's just because we're losing all the V stars. We're losing like 4 seal stones, like the Arven engine. Like people are still playing Arven, obviously, but like that's getting nerfed a little bit.
Yeah.
So
interesting. Okay.
Yeah, interesting. We got Blissey. All right, the next one I think is just a wall deck. Like this is a deck I've been seeing a lot when I went through City League. It's just like Milotic, Farigiraf, like Ogerpon.
Is that Poke Vital A?
Yeah, yeah, we put this in like F tier. Honestly, it probably still is.
Yeah.
Heal 150.
How is this? Well, I guess how is this not better than Scoop Up Cyclone?
Well, because I mean, like you don't want to go to your energy, like right. So I mean, like if you're a wall, like I'm sure some decks have like 1 or 2 Pokemon that get hit into you. So I guess if you Poke Vital and you take out the threat.
I guess you're like attacking walls. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, this isn't like Snorlax now. Like these guys actually, I don't even know what my Milotic attack does again. It's like, yeah, your opponent's active now sleep 160. Okay.
Nice.
Farigiraf does 160 and 30 snipe. Okay. Ogerpon is just shred. So.
Yeah, I can see why this is decent.
Bro, low-key, I feel like a lot of these decks play Ogerpon just so they can shred the other walls.
Yeah. Just so much like I don't know. There's so much jank here, man. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where this goes. 4
Crispin, 4 Arven. Like this is actually a deck that uses counter gain, I think, really well. So this is a card that I think we've been waiting to see play. Okay, then there's this deck. This is also the deck that Tord played, like the Ogerpon Snipe deck. This seems like super toxic. It's like you're trying to turn 1 Torrential Pump because like there's no mana in the format. And then you could also Pikachu as well with E-Switch attached and Crystal. So. I don't know how you draw the crystal consistently because like on turn 1 because you have to like Noctowl for it I guess later. So maybe it's more like on like turn 2 you go for it, but it's like a toolbox deck. You have Clefairy to like one shot what's it called, Dragapult, and I guess Raging Bolt as well. And like it seems kind of interesting.
Just seems so much like it's like a. It's kind of like Cloth. I feel like you just have a lot of like toolboxy dudes around a support Pokemon. It seems cool. It seems fun. I just don't know how excited I am to play post rotation after looking at all this. This seems very very upsetting.
Well, you got to break the format then, Aneil, to get excited.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, well, there was 2 more walls. There's 3 wall decks in top 8. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a Charizard Noctowl, Terapagos.
Oh yeah, this peeked its head out for a bit.
Yeah.
Over here too.
I actually don't.
Oh, max belt action. I like that.
Does this not just get completely walled by my Milotic?
I guess you have Fan Rotom. That can't be good.
How much health does my Milotic have? 260. So then
260. You can't even Fan Rotom plus Dusknoir. It's not enough.
yeah, you gotta go Dusknoir, Stretcher, Dusknoir, but they don't even play that. Like Super Rod.
You could Fan Rotom, Dusknoir plus max belt. Oh, then you're still 10 short. Nah, never mind. It sucks.
Well, I mean, it's obviously decent. They got top 8, but this does seem like it would struggle with Milotic.
Yeah, like how did this even get this far?
I don't know. I mean, we played 0 games, so we're just noobs.
Hey, fair enough. Fair enough.
Alright, there's Dragapult, Dusknoir. So this was apparently the best deck, and they got the best placement was 9. I mean, it looks pretty similar to what we're playing in this format with Jacques. Oh, EXP share. Actually, I'm lying.
EXP share.
This is not similar.
Classic.
Yeah, I guess because the Clefairy card is popular. I guess maybe like have EXP share, so you can just like knock it out right away.
EXP share is a certified classic. That's
that is a classic card. Shout out Quadrakian.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, so I mean, like Dragapult seems like it's still a good deck. It probably just seems like everyone was. It does seem like everyone was hating on Dragapult, like with all these like Milotics and stuff.
Yeah.
There's like one Raging Bolt. I've seen like post rotation, people are playing Raging Bolt with Noctowl. It's like the popular way to play it.
And that makes a lot of sense though. Like I actually really like that.
You lose Pokestop, you lose. Is Trekking Shoes gone or no? Yes, I think so. Yeah. You lose Trekking Shoe. Pokegear gone?
No, it got reprinted.
Okay, but they're not playing it here.
The easy way to remember this, if you're like confused about it, is think about the cards with yellow borders. If it had a yellow border, it's probably
that's
gone.
fair actually.
It's actually definitely gone.
So yeah, I guess. I mean, you can still get turn 1 attacks off, but I feel like it's way harder to do it now. Like, there's no Greninja. You're relying on
that one hurts.
the Ultra Ball, the Vessel, and the Squawk. So,
and the fact you don't even play 4 Vessels is crazy to me.
Yeah, there's this Raging Bolt. It does 30 damage when your opponent's Pokemon for each energy attached to Pokemon. Yeah, so I guess without Manaphy, you can snipe. Yeah. Oh yeah, Raging Bolt less toxic than this format.
Yeah.
We had one Ends deck. What does this stadium do? Oh yeah, Ends Pokemon no retreat cast. Ends Castle. Yeah, I mean, like it seems like this is solid. Like it's really heavily leaning into the Darmanitan. You have the 2 reversal energy, specifically only for Darmanitan. So I guess yeah, without Manaphy, this makes it decent. And Zoroark, I guess.
Is that like Moo Milk or something? What is
this? That's Ends PP up, bro.
Oh, it's Ends PP. Oh, Ends PP up, our classic card name.
That's a basic energy if you discard 20 or best Ends Pokemon.
Ends PP is up, right?
Okay, they have Pekka EX in the deck too. I don't know. This I guess is this like what is there? I guess the Feraligatr deck can like trap something infinitely, maybe. So you.
I guess.
I don't know.
What does the Reshiram do again? I don't actually remember.
I think it does a bunch of damage. Then it's Outrage. Yeah, it does 20 damage for each damage counter on it, so it's 20 times.
All right.
So if you take one hit, I mean, if you take a hit, you're like you can push back a lot of damage.
But like, what's not one-shotting this at this point?
But no, it's not like Zoroark copies the benched attacks. Like Zoroark takes a hit, and then Zoroark does powerful reach.
Right. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So, I don't know. This deck seems cool. Doesn't seem that inherently powerful to me, but like, it seems fun.
Hey, I'm happy to see Zoroark doing well. So, yeah. I mean, I won't complain. The next deck is really cool. I'm really excited to talk about this next deck.
The Flareon?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
this is some good stuff.
Pretty cool. You have some Trumpet to accelerate. You've got, what does Leafeon do again? It accelerates or no? 60 for each energy. Okay, you can heal. I mean, Flareon does 280, which is like a really solid number.
Well, it is a solid number now. I don't know if it's going to be solid.
I guess because all the V-Stars have 280, but I guess there's no V-Stars anymore.
There's no more V-Stars.
But
this is cool. Like, I think this deck is really, really cool. Like, I like seeing random stuff like this do well because you never really see this. There's a lot of like multi-energy gimmicks in the TCG that you see all the time. Even like Ogre's Mask and stuff like that. Like that never came to fruition. So when you see this actually work, pretty cool.
Oh, you played Black Belt training and like you, 320.
I feel like that's a card that people are really sleeping on as well. Like just in general, like when Prismatic came out, no one really paid it any mind, but it's really showing why it can be pretty good.
Yeah, I guess next format's a little harder because like you don't have Luminion, but like this deck plays Noctowl, so it's like, okay, well, you can just grab it whenever you want it. So
Yeah, you're chill.
and this deck plays Briar as well, so you can take it that. So cool.
Super cool.
Last deck was just a normal Golden Go, but it played the Dunsparce to draw cards. Hit a monkey.
Nice.
What's this card? Oh yeah, actually this card's actually probably decent. Like it's put 2 basic lightnings from the area discard into your hand every turn. So it's basically just like if that sticks, because when we were looking at the list, there wasn't that many stadiums with a lot of the decks. So if it sticks, that's just plus 100 damage every turn, right? So
yeah, it's pretty good for Dengo actually. Dengo doesn't really fall off at all. You only really gain after rotation. You lose Ninja and you lose Palkia, but other than that, you don't really care.
And it seems like going through this list, like Badoo wasn't not played either. So
no, yeah, and Badoo's hit or miss for Goldengo, right? Like if you have an energy in your hand with Goldengo, like you're chilling. You don't care about Badoo, but if you don't.
Well, it's more so in the late game, like you can get caught out where it's like you're down all your energy. It's like, all right, Badoo, no more attacking for you.
List knowledge is now really, really important for Goldengo.
Yeah. So that's top 16 in the Champions League. I wish we had all the lists so we could see like a more clear picture of what the meta was, like the meta breakdown. But pretty cool. Tori getting top 16. I know Rahul and Fabian went there as well. I think Rahul got 40th or something when I saw on his Twitter.
He did well too, yeah.
Yeah, he played the same deck as Tord. I guess I didn't even click on Tord's deck. We already look at the other person's, but like late scene is pretty much the same.
Yep.
Oh, who is this? What is this?
80 health to retreat.
Oh, Prismatic Evolution, 80 health. Oh, I didn't know we had new loot. Oh, 2 retreat. Okay, this is why people aren't playing like crazy. Okay.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah. So cool. All right.
Sweet. Anything else?
We got even more content today for everybody. We have new cards, and we have the Cynthia's cards. So I mean, I think I was anticipating these to be like the best cards when I saw the set had Cynthia in it. I mean, Cynthia. Honestly, I feel like it's kind of fair to say, like in the video game, she might be the most iconic character.
And it's kind of weird because like I don't really know why, but she just is.
She just like I guess her Garchomp, like her ace, is probably like the most iconic ace Pokemon. Like it was like when you were a kid, she was actually hard to beat. I remember when I was like I had trouble beating her.
Genuinely, yeah, like that Spiritomb puts in work.
Yeah, like her team was just so she had Spiritomb, she had like Milotic. I remember the Milotic was always really hard for me to beat with the team I played.
Gastrodon, Garchomp, Lucario, Togekiss.
Yeah, and Roserade, right? Or no?
And Roserade.
Yeah, that's probably the best team any champion has had. I think Leon's team was pretty good, but I think Cynthia's was maybe it's just because we're older now, but like so we had more trouble when we were kids. But I remember her team being really hard.
Hey, those games were like genuinely hard back in the day.
Yeah.
Like even if you go back and play them, like you can still struggle a little bit. That's what I miss about Pokemon. A lot of people say the same thing.
Yeah. So, So I guess we can start with her Roserade, and we'll make our way down to her Garchomp. Shout out to Always as Twan for translations. They're the goat for this. Okay, so Cynthia's Roserade. Its attack is just 3 energy for 80, but the ability, Glorious Cheer, your Cynthia's Pokemon deal 30 more damage to your opponent's active. And unlike a lot of the other cards, it doesn't say you can only have one. So you can stack this. Like if you had 4 Roserades, for example, you would do 120 more. So, I mean, it seems like it's probably good. As we'll see her other Pokemon, like you probably need a little bit of a damage boost, especially on the Garchomp. You're probably going to play a 1-1 line or like a 2-2 line of this in the deck. If her deck being cool. Good. And then, the other thing we have to talk about is her illustration rare. The art style is very, I don't know, for lack of a better term, like very weeby, like very like anime style, but more than normal. So over under on this card being $300 on release.
I hope for the sake of the sanity of our community and the reasons why people will be buying this card, I'm gonna say under in hopes that I'm correct. I don't think I'll be correct. I think this card's going to the moon, but I really hope it doesn't.
Yeah. You know what? This is completely unrelated. I really disliked Cynthia's full art last time she was a card, like the draw 6 Cynthia. It was so lame.
The like Ultra Prism one with the purple background?
Yeah, like wait, this one. This Cynthia. Like I feel like Cynthia is such a cool character, and like this was her full art. I'm like, this was so lame. They
This was
fixed
really
it.
expensive,
They
though, I
fixed
remember.
it was. They fixed it with this art. I like this art better. It's like could be better, but the one with Garchomp, like I don't know.
Why does she have like a random shiny Lucario? It's kind of jokes.
Wait, where? Oh, you're right. I didn't even know. How did I not notice this? Yeah, she's just shiny
Oh.
Lucario now. That's pretty cool.
What set was this from? Was this from like a holiday set? Maybe that's
Ultra
why?
Prism. Or wait,
Okay,
this might be.
no,
This might be.
no,
This
there's no
might be
way.
something else. Wait, this one was Ultra Prism. Yeah.
Yeah, that one's something else.
You're right. This was this a promo? Wait.
It says A at the bottom, so it's an alternate art form of something.
SV82.
Oh, this was definitely a holiday set. That's why they're shiny.
No, SV is Shining Fate or something.
Yeah, it's yeah, we'll go with that. I don't really know.
I don't know either.
You're right. Yeah, something like that.
But yeah. And then I like this art. This art's pretty cool. With the Gastrodon
cool
at the Sinnoh runes or whatever.
Yeah, they know what they're doing with this, of course. I mean, Cynthia is iconic, and I don't really know why, but she's really cool, and the music is probably the best like battle theme in
the
any.
piano.
Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. I can like picture it in my
Anyways.
head. Yeah. Roselia, like doesn't matter. It's gonna
Yeah,
evolve.
don't care.
All right, here's the Garchomp, the Ace. It's not that cool of a card to be honest for like being Garchomp. The first attack is literally just 1 for 100, draw until you have 6, and the second is 2 fighting, 260. That's obviously balanced around the fact that you're supposed to play the Roserade with it. So if you get 2 Roserades, you can pretty much one-shot everything. So a couple of things I think are interesting is it's not a Terra type, and it doesn't have an ability. So it actually goes through all of these walls that we're seeing.
Yeah.
And then it's pretty low maintenance, like 2 fighting. I guess the thing is, how are we accelerating? Like, you might have to play Crispin and just play some random energy type, so you have an accelerator to get energy.
Well, you play Koraidon. I also think that if this was a Terra, it would be broken, because then you could use Crystal.
That's true.
Yeah, it'd be disgusting. So I think there's a reason why it's not a Terra.
Yeah.
Maybe there is some sort of acceleration that's outside of this, but yeah, I think you're right. You might just have to play Crispin or something.
But, yeah, so the next card we have to talk about, because it will make the deck viable for sure. Or if it's viable, it's because of this. Gabite Champion's Call, a huge throwback to the Gabite from Dragons Exalted. Once during your turn, search your deck for 1 Cynthia's Pokemon, reveal it, put it in your hand. It stacks, so like if you have 3 Gibbles, you can like Gabite into Gabite into Gabite. And then you just basically have your engine going the whole game.
This is legit just Garchomp Altaria reborn.
Yeah, it is actually, because the Altaria was literally Dragons 2 plus 20.
It was Roserade.
And then the Garchomp had 1 energy plus 2 energy attack as well.
Yep.
So, I mean, like, it has such a strong engine, and we've seen the power level of rotation be pretty low. So, like, I actually think this deck has a chance to do decent. Like, if this was current format, I'd say this card is, like, this, like, deck is not good. But I think it has a chance in post-rotation.
Yeah, there's very little, like, it looks slower. Like, this deck will thrive, I think.
Yeah, so it seems cool. And then Spiritomb. It does 10 damage for each damage counter on all your bench Cynthia's Pokemon, which is actually like decent because like if Garchomp just takes a hit, you can just retreat, put 1 energy, and like this thing's hitting for like probably like 200 or how much you got hit for on a single present. Yeah. So it'll definitely be a 1-up in the deck. I think it's pretty solid.
Yeah, it's just like it's a failsafe, I guess, just in like in the sense of like, yo, don't hit me and not kill me, bro. You're gonna get punished.
Yeah, I guess, and the art, I think it's actually in the stadium, like battling, I think.
That's pretty cool. This is worth it as a 1-up, just in case. It's searchable by Buddy Poffin. Like, you might as well.
Did you watch the anime episode where Ash faces her in top 4?
You know the answer to this.
Oh, bro, you gotta watch it, bro. It's so good. I've talked about the platform. I've told you to watch it, bro. Their fight's so good.
I gotta watch it.
Yeah, Spiritomb puts in work. Spiritomb puts in work in that fight.
I believe it.
Yeah. All right.
I like how Vladdy's still trending on your right there. He's not getting signed.
Vladdy. Yeah, that's actually kind of insane, bro, that we haven't signed him yet.
Don't even start me, man. I'm so pissed off. Well, anyways.
True.
Power weight.
All right, this is the last card in the L. Cynthia's Power Weight. Gives her Cynthia's Pokemon plus 70 health. I mean, that's pretty solid. Like, it's a lot.
Pretty good. Yeah. 70 health is a lot of health.
I mean, like, it doesn't seem like Jamming Tower is that popular. So, yeah.
Doesn't that mean that Garchomp now has 400 health?
How much was it? 330? Yeah, it has 400 health, I guess.
That is bonkers.
That's a lot. And then, like, if it's tanking, your Spiritomb's damage scales.
It has free retreat too. Jeez.
Oh yeah, we didn't even talk about that actually. Yeah, it has free retreat. So you just like
It's weak to Ogremon, which is kind of a problem. But you're not attaching many
But I mean, like
energies
if
to
you put
yourself
one
anyway.
energy, yeah. So then they would do what 150. They would need 4 energy to one shot you. If you put 2
Yeah.
energy, no, but you discard all the energy with the second attack. So then like they're only doing 240.
The first attack's also really good. You have built-in draw support.
Yeah. Like yeah, turn 2, you just go like rare candy. This guy like knock out whatever like 70 HP like random guy your opponent has, and then when they evolve into their big guy, then next turn you knock them out with the Dragon Blaster.
This is legit. This is
Yeah.
really legit.
Well, so last time Garchomp Altaria came out, it was probably like the most overhyped deck of all time. So hopefully
Yeah,
this time, Cynthia's Garchomp as well. Also, shout out that her like character portrait's the exact same one from like the Diamond and Pearl era.
From the originals.
Yeah.
And I still expect they'll give her like a Gastrodon and probably like a Lucario or something at some point. 'Cause
Yeah,
that's so
probably.
iconic too. So this might get more support. I really do think this deck has a lot of legs.
Yeah, it seems
just from
pretty
what we've
good.
seen tonight. But we'll see.
Yeah, and then I'm excited to see. I actually really love the illustration. I don't collect the cards, but I like the illustration rare. So I hope she gets a really cool illustration rare with the Garchomp, like where Garchomp just looks super menacing or like.
Very expensive cards are coming to market.
It will be very expensive, but Garchomp's just such a cool Pokemon. Like, he's like a fighter jet dragon. Like, it's just sick. So.
I don't even know what he is, but I like him. A land shark is what he is.
Yeah, he's a land shark, but like he can fly at Mach speeds. Like
it's just a dope Pokemon.
That's what I'm saying. He's just
they slapped with this one.
Honestly, I'm like Gibble's just a cool little guy, cool little dude. He's a chill dude.
He just falls in that like Fukuoka Totodile category of just like dudes that'll bite your leg off and not have any idea what he's doing.
Yeah. Oh, I like Gibble. Even Gabite's a really cool stage 1.
Another land dragon.
Yeah. So cool. All right, now that's all I had for us prepared. I mean, we had a longer episode than normal today, so hopefully you guys enjoyed
long ass episode, yeah.
the episode. Yeah, so Aneil and I will both be at EUIC this weekend, so come say Wagwan if you see us. Yeah, other than that, Aneil, anything to shout out, to plug?
Nah, let us know down below if you want to see the 4 Nations Pokemon face-off. That'd be pretty jokes. And let us know what you're thinking of for UIC. Maybe we got some stuff wrong. Let us know down below. Other than that, this is a good hour and a half of listening on your plane rides or wherever you got to go. Yep. So hopefully you enjoy it, get something out of it, and we'll be back to talk to y'all next week on Wednesday. Best of luck at UIC. Stay safe. Travel well. We'll see y'all in a week.
Later.
Peace.